Start over. Do your intro. Do your intro! Oh my goodness. I'm just gonna wait here. Hi, this is Katie. Okay, we're moving on to the questions. Today's Q&A is about dating. Oh my goodness, we've been sitting here for too long. Today's Q&A is about how to live in your car and date simultaneously, and if dating is an option or whatever. Do you have anything else to add?
No.
You want to say hi, this is Katie?
Hi, this is Katie.
Great. Let's just jump in.
So yeah, you guys asked me questions on Instagram, and so he's reading, I don't know why he's reading them, but he is. He's gonna read them. We're gonna answer some questions about living in your car slash dating slash living in your car, being on the road, traveling consistently, and dating.
Correct.
Okay, let's just jump right in.
How do you choose what car to live in?
Okay, so first of all, I think finding someone to date who also wants to live in a car is going to be like 1,000,000 to 1. I'm not saying it's gonna be impossible. I'm just gonna say that's not gonna be the most common.
Correct.
You're gonna find someone probably who lives in a house or an apartment.
Right.
But I guess if it got to that point, slash if you met someone who wanted to be like that, you just kind of would, I don't know.
The more comfortable one.
Sure, but it's also just kind of like if you're two people living in two different houses, and if you wanted to live together, how would you pick which house? Kind of like maybe if one owns it and one is leasing it, or if one has a bigger one, or if one has a different setup, or if one is more attached to their car than the other. Did we answer that question?
I hope so.
I don't know.
No,
Okay, so the next question is like, if you were dating someone, would you consider moving into an apartment? I would consider that, but with the definite that I would still be traveling. How about you? Not right now. You wouldn't do that right now.
No, right. I have my goals right now.
Yeah.
For another 211 days, getting an apartment is absolutely out of the question.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, I'm nomadic at heart. Even when I was living in an apartment, I would need fresh air, I'd need new experiences. I would travel to a new place. So even if I'd move back into an apartment, I would definitely need that stimulation of traveling to a new place, because that fulfills the soul.
Yeah, me too. So like I would, but yeah, I'd probably be gone at least a week, a month, if not more, just because it's what I prefer. But it would just depend on the situation. Like if I really wanted to be with someone, but they had a job that like they really loved in a place, then absolutely I would just be in that place more often. If we were dating for a while, yes, I would consider moving, but I would still stay on the road because that's just kind of what I prefer my lifestyle to be. At this point, who knows? I might change my mind in a week and buy a house, who knows? But I don't see that happening, but I mean, you never know. Melissa
Munchkin asks, how do you meet people when you're constantly on the road?
Bumble.
What?
Bumble. Do you know what Bumble is?
What's Bumble?
It's like Tinder, a dating app.
Oh.
I haven't used Tinder in a while. I've been mostly just using Bumble, but honestly, I haven't even really met anyone new recently. And the last person that I kind of was dating, I met in person. Like he actually came up to me in real life, which never happens. I think that when like I'm out, because I'm usually by myself, right? And so I feel like when I'm out like doing things, I just kind of am one of those people who like, I just look really mean, I think, when I'm walking around. I don't know. But so people don't really, I don't meet many people just kind of like out in real life. I like meeting people on dating apps, but I've always been that way. One of my first boyfriends I met on Craigslist, like 11 years ago. Yeah, it was a little dodgy. Like, I understand that it sounds super creepy, but this was 11 years ago, and we ended up dating for a while. We're actually still friends. I talked to him like yesterday.
You talked to the guy you met on Craigslist. Don't do that, people.
No,
don't do that. No.
He's fine. He's fine. But also, don't do that now. But 11 years ago, it was a little bit more normal. But like, I met one of my first best friends on MySpace. I've met people kind of, even when I lived in a house or lived in apartments, I've kind of always met people online. Like that's kind of, I met people on OkCupid. I met people on Tinder. I met some of my good friends on Tinder. Okay. And so some of my boyfriends obviously have met in person, but I like online dating, even just to make friends. I know that some people feel uncomfortable with that, but I like that. And that's kind of what I've done, yeah.
I'm definitely on the opposite spectrum of that, where I will always, or almost always, approach someone in person. I just prefer that social interaction.
Except me, we met on Snapchat.
Right.
Me and you.
That
technically, like he first messaged me on Snapchat because he watched my YouTube
As of late, I've been like leaning towards online, actually meeting people online. In fact, Instagram, not even Tinder or this, what did you say it was? Bumble. No, I don't rely on that, but I have been leaning towards Instagram. If I find, let's say, someone I'm attracted to, literally just send them a DM.
But don't be creepy. I'm sure you're not creepy about it, because he's not a creepy person. Because like some people will message people and be kind of creepy, but if you just say like, hey, what's up? Or like,
absolutely.
Like,
and
hey, oh, I saw that you went to this place, you know, like,
and start
like,
a conversation around
or whatever.
it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you seem like a regular person, then messaging on Snapchat or Instagram or whatever, like, it's just kind of normal. And I feel like it's, what year is it? 2018, you know? Like, it's just kind of, that's just like a normal thing nowadays. But again, it's not for everyone.
Right. No, absolutely. I think you should find out what works for you. Personally, I just get a better feel for someone in person than I would online. Traveling to a
long distance relationship, which one are you? So the only relationship that I can even remotely say that like I was in long enough to like talk about this was when I dated Steve. And if you guys have been watching me for years, you know who Steve is.
I remember Steve.
Do you?
Yeah, it was years ago.
Yeah, he's been watching me for years. Steve's a touring musician, and so he did not have a typical 9 to 5, and so he was able to travel certain times or whatever. And so there were times that he would live in one place and I would live in a different place. But then there were also times where, like, basically any time that I was dating Steve, I made a choice to want to be as close to him as possible, even though he was on tour all the time, but be close to him as possible when he was home, which was New York. And so I was living in San Diego once when we started dating, so we kind of broke up and got back together like 2 or 3 times. So he flew out to San Diego and we drove back together, but we traveled together a lot. And I prefer that. Like, I would prefer to date someone who likes to travel, especially like obviously like likes to go on road trips, just because that's what I like to do. And I think sharing like just a common goal or a common hobby is important. And to me, that's one, like, it's not necessarily a deal breaker, but I would kind of prefer it. And so Steve like that, and it ended up working out. I mean, obviously not in the long run because we've been broken up for years, but it did work out that like there would be certain times that I'd be working online or I wasn't really working besides YouTube, and he would have a show somewhere and I'd drive out with him, you know? And so it just kind of depends on, like, I would be okay with either. I would be okay with having someone live in one place, if it was, especially if it's a city that I loved. Like if someone lived in like Bozeman or LA or even like Chicago or like Nashville, like some of the cities that like are kind of like hubs slash that I really, really like, I'd be totally okay dating someone who lived there, because I would just kind of go back really often. And then again, maybe I would end up moving there or whatever. But if someone wanted to be on the road, I'd probably prefer that a little bit. Am I making any sense? Or
yeah, no, you are. The next question is, has anyone ever treated you differently as a result of finding out your living situation? Do you mind if I answer this first?
Go for it.
So this recently happened. I can't remember what video I was editing, but I was staying in like, I was in a Starbucks editing a video for like Monday through like it was a week, 7 days every day, and there was a regular at Starbucks, and she just asked like, hey, what do you do? She saw that I was editing a video, and I explained, we flirted for a bit, and I showed her like my channel, and then just just zero contact, just nothing after the fact. And then I ran into her like the day that I uploaded like the video, and she just said, yeah, no, it's just kind of weird. So I don't think, exactly, and I don't think everyone's going to be on board. Yeah, most people aren't. Honestly, people won't. Most people are not. Absolutely, and that was like an eye-opener for me. So like, but that's, again, that's true with anything. If you're finding anyone, you need to ensure that there's a compatibility. Like, she had every right, absolutely, and like, I'm so grateful that she did that, then still continue like a conversation, and knowing how she felt, was completely not interested, and like walking away from that situation. More power to her. Like, you understand? It's like good, it's empowering. And I'd rather spend my time with someone who knows what my motivations are, why I'm doing what I'm doing, and understands, and not only understands, but also appreciates. But then again, and then again, that doesn't matter if you're living in a car, or living in a van, or living in an apartment. You need to find someone who appreciates the good and the bad. Some people, like, honestly, if someone sees what you're doing or what I'm doing, so we're not doing the same thing, but we're doing similar-ish things. If someone's gonna see what we're doing as a negative thing, especially even after we've talked about it and maybe explained it a little bit, then yeah, they're probably just not gonna be people that we're gonna be compatible with as dating, as a relationship, as friends even. Because there are just certain people who look down on this lifestyle, even when they learn. And if you haven't seen any of Gabriel's videos or like any of my videos with Gabriel, he lives in his car by choice, just like I do, and he's traveling around America just like I am. I dated someone for like 2 weeks or so when I was in LA, and he, like, anytime that
I would just like leave his house and then like go like sleep at a truck stop, he kind of felt bad. And it's not, but like, because it's so not normal for him. He's just like, well, I'm kind of like kicking the girl that I'm dating out to go sleep in her car. And it's like, well, no, like I live in my car. But yeah, it just kind of depends. Some people just have such a like negative view on it. And then that's just never gonna work out. So to answer that question for me, like if you allow us to like explain what we're doing, like we're traveling, we're literally traveling. We're on like a long-term road trip. And so if you don't like that, then okay, cool. And like Gabriel said, like it's better to know in the beginning so we don't get into something and then a month later it's like, well, I don't really like that you live on the road. It's like, all right, well, you should have told me first day. You should have told me the first day you had. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, some people look down on it. Some people think it's really cool. Some people are just like, oh, like I've talked to some people who literally are like, oh, you live in your car, and it's like, yeah, and then they're like, okay, and then they're on. Yeah, absolutely. And those are almost my favorite people. It's just like, okay, you just see that people live different lives. Like,
I just had that experience, and it's liberating. If you are attracted to someone, and especially after this recent experience, if you are attracted to someone, I think there is going to be that hesitation, absolutely, to tell someone 100%. Like,
I don't really feel hesitation.
Okay.
But again, I think
the first time I ever did it, like this was after the experience. I didn't want this experience to like shape my dating life for the rest of this time. But I looked at the next girl that I approached. I told her up front, and there was some hesitation there. But ultimately, if you are sure about your life decisions, your life choices, and you're comfortable with them, no matter what happens, no matter how people respond to that, you have like a solid foundation of where you are in your life. And like, I'm not gonna apologize, I'm not gonna make an excuse. I live my car by choice and I love it. Yeah. Sure, like 80% of the time, great. 20% of the time I have challenges. But listen, those 20% for me still beats having landlords and increasing rent and all those things. So it's like you're still going to have challenges living in an apartment. Exactly. So it's just different type of challenges living on the road. This is just one of those challenges that you may have. And it's no different really if you're living in an apartment. Maybe someone doesn't like the part of town you live in. Or, do you understand what I'm saying? It's the same.
The city you live in. Or correct. Maybe you both meet on vacation. They're like, ugh. You live in Louisville, you know, or whatever. And yeah, so people, it's kind of like, there's just gonna be certain people who don't like you for whatever it is. Right. But you have to kind of know your priorities, and you have to know kind of what you're doing with your life. And so like, if you don't want to date me because I live in my car, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm not going to change that because I like doing it. I'm not going to change it unless I want to change it. Gabriel's not going to change it for at least 211 days. After that, you might not change it for 20 years or ever. Right. Or you might change it on the 212th day. You might be like, oh my God, I'm over it. But like, that doesn't matter. You know, it's like, I feel like people get judgmental for sure, which everyone does, because judgmental just in general just means that you have an opinion about something. Right. But people get negatively judgmental and like mean sometimes, when in reality it's just like people live in different lives. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that you're dumb. It doesn't mean that you're making a bad choice. It doesn't mean that you're not planning for your future. It doesn't mean all this crap that so many people attack. People attack both of us for this kind of stuff, especially for being on YouTube. So being public about this choice, which is a very, very different choice. So even when you're not dating, people attack. And it's just like you have to know that you're doing this because, and again, it's with anything. It's with living in your car or any choice that is even mildly different than the norm. It's being secure in it is key, because then if someone else doesn't like it, it's just like a, well, okay, that's okay, because not everyone's gonna like you, even in a dating sense. Not everyone's gonna like you. Okay, so we're gonna stop that here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Gabriel and I honestly can talk for hours. We have like an hour of footage, but we're gonna cut that down. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the little bell and hit all so you know if I have all my videos. And I'm gonna have all of Gabriel's links in the description, so go follow him on Instagram. And so go so follow him on Instagram, subscribe to him on YouTube, and that's gonna be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, Jesus loves you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, you can do an outro.
Yes, you have one life, so get after it.
Not me.